listening? Welcome. This is Dear Aliens, and I am your host, Molly, sweatpant connoisseur, minor adventurer, and your storyteller for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to find out what things make me want to get beamed up. Today, we are talking about things that, okay, to just put it straight, these are things that I just do not fuck with, slash, I am afraid of. Like, usually, if I don't fuck with it, I also am afraid of it. Actually, you know what? It's more like the rules of like squares and rectangles. Like a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. Like I might be afraid of it, and that's why I don't fuck with it. Or it could be like, I don't fuck with it, but I'm not afraid of it. And so we're going to talk about people, places, and things. Doesn't that sound riveting? Okay, we'll jump right in. We're going to start by talking about people. And to make this list, I define it by saying I don't want to be caught anywhere dark, anywhere, ever with them. So if you're on this list, like that's how I feel. Like if it's dark out, like I don't even want you to be outside of your home. Like I would like to know that there are guards standing at your door, keeping you inside and keeping the public safe. Alrighty, so who is at the top of my list? Conan O'Brien. I'm sorry, but like he's really giving redheads a bad name. Like we are really working through this redhead prejudice where it's like redheads don't have souls, they're evil, and we were doing good work. Carrot Top, he was really trying to put in time. Think about all of these iconic redheads in our time right now. We've got Cheryl on Riverdale. And then we have this man just being so creepy on cable TV. He has a late show. He had a late show. He has a late show. We are unsure. But like, okay, if you're like, I just never seen him be creepy. I want you, after you're done listening to the pod, to open up YouTube and type into the search bar Nina Dobrev Conan O'Brien interview and look for the interview where she is wearing a blue shorts, like she's wearing shorts, but it's a pantsuit, but there's shorts. Watch that interview. It doesn't matter which part of that interview you watch. Every clip is so disturbing. It's like it gets more and more disturbing as the interview goes on, which is why he is at the top of my list. Like literally he's bringing down it makes me sick. And I've been saying this since I was 12 years old. I've been like, I don't fly with this man. Second on the list, Shia LaBeouf. Holes was a spectacular movie. It was ahead of its time. I have not watched it recently. Will it still stand up? I am unsure. But when I think of that song Shia LaBeouf, written by Rob Cantor, it's like that entire, and then it's like a meme at the end because he's in the audience. I feel like as much of that is like a parody and comedy and ha ha. That was a true story. I just feel like that was the truth. That was what was that song. That was a biography. This is a true telling of Shia LaBeouf. I'm afraid of him. And I feel like the rest of the world is afraid too. So some of the people on this list, clearly it's obvious. And then for other people on the list, it's like, next up. And everyone's like, yeah, this makes sense. Jared Leto. And the only reason that I'm going to bring to the table as to why he got onto this list is his method acting. And here's the thing. I'm not here to dog out method acting. I'm not an actor. I don't know anything about acting. Actually, I do. I do know a thing or two about acting from some of the acting I've done. And yeah, I cannot act at all. It's so humiliating. Like I think being embarrassed and being humiliated are two different things, and I'm not embarrassed by my acting credits, but I am humiliated because I'm bad. Like I'm not good, and it's really unfortunate. And also friends, what the hell? Could one of you have been like, hey, You're really bad. Or when our friends or people would be like, hey, can you come act in this? Could one of you like pull them to the side and have been like, hey, yeah, she's really bad. She can't act and she is going to tank this. She's going to bring down your entire movie. That's all I'm saying. So back to Jared Leto. This man method acts, and you cannot just like torture people and then be like, I'm method acting. Like, it's just inappropriate. And here's the thing, you can method act and not be a terror. And I get that the Joker is a terror, but like, isn't there a line? And by that I mean a professional line. Because no, I don't think that he has a personal line, and I don't think he thinks about other people's personal line. Like, doesn't he just give you vibes that he would be in your personal space? And like, he gives me like, he's so close consistently, he's breathing your air. Like, it just makes me think of that Veepco where she's like, everyone's just sucking all my air. That's how I feel. That's what vibe he gives me. He's just sucking all the air, and he's also 6 inches away, and you're just like, why? And lastly, this list could potentially be very, very long, and we're not going to do a big long list. So I was just like, I'm only picking 4. And the 4th person on my list, and I will be shocked if anyone knows who this is, but you know what? That's what I hope I can bring to the table here a little bit. Just keep throwing out names that maybe people don't recognize. So maybe people might start Googling and be like, oh, whoa, cool. Yeah. So the last person is Andy Dick. And here's the thing. All of the other people on this list, like one of the reasons, okay, no. So Shia LaBeouf and Jared Leto, I don't want to be like anywhere dark with them, because I feel like if it came down to it and I felt like I had to fight for my life, I don't think I would win. Could I beat Conan O'Brien in a fight? Yes, absolutely. You know, the celebrity like boxing rings, like, let me in. Like, I want to go. And I'm not saying I want to fight anyone else, just Conan O'Brien, maybe someone else. Like Victoria Justice, like they did in iCarly. Okay. But Andy Dick, like if we were in the alley and I was like, oh, I feel like he's like, I feel like I could beat him up if I needed to. But it's just like, he gives me victim vibes. And that's the thing, is like, he would be weird in the alley. But then afterwards he would be like, I was attacked. He was like, I don't even understand why anyone is like trying to be mean to me. Because first of all, this man blames most of his problems on the fact that he says that Jeff Goldblum stole his girlfriend, which is hilarious. And I love that. And that made me love Jeff Goldblum even more. I love that. That is hilarious. That is great. And Andy, that is why you are at the bottom of my list for today, on people who I do not fuck with / I am afraid of. Next up on the docket, places. And I'm defining this by places I never want to go to / would ever go to. The first one, space. Like, it really makes me think, and it's like, let's go to the edge. Like, immediately, let's go to the edge. We're standing on the edge of the cliff, and would you rather say the earth is coming to an end? Maybe it's Wall-E style, maybe it's like it's gonna blow up, blah blah blah. And it's like, you can either stay on earth and like hope it works out, or you can get on a spaceship and leave earth. That's a really hard decision for me, and I feel like that's not a hard decision for most people. Like, I'm wondering, like, let me know. Maybe I'll make this a question for today. Like, what would you do? Would you get on a spaceship if earth was going to become like uninhabitable? Because for me, like, I really have to think on that. Like, I hope they give us like a while. And I get that you probably like want to get on a list and get on early and la la, but like, I really am afraid of space. Like, I think I'm as equally afraid of space as I am of the ocean. Because what's out there in space? And also, like, all of these movies about space, and I get them, they're like movies and it's fiction and it's like la 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 la, but then there's like documentaries about true things in space, and I'm just not sure I'm interested in being in space at all. Xenon was a great movie, but like, I'm an earth girl. Next on my list, Jurassic Park. I know that it's not a real place, but if it was, I would not go. I get that that's like the Disneyland of dinosaurs, and I love those movies. But here's the thing, we've seen the movies. The dinosaurs always escape the paddock. Why am I going to go to a place where I know that eventually there is going to be a break? And knowing me, it'll be while I'm there. Like, that is why I don't go to California, because California, because of the faults and like earthquakes and la la la, like it is going to fall into the ocean. But at the same time, I'm just thinking about the fact that if I was in California, that's probably when it would happen. There would definitely be an earthquake or like a sinkhole, and then California drops into the ocean, and of course I'm there. So that's my hesitancy to ever be in California. So it's like the same rule applies to Jurassic Park. Like, it's just inevitable. The next on my list, a submarine. The concept of a submarine is actually one of the worst ideas and things I've ever heard and been inside. Who else? Okay, quick story time. Who remembers when you were a Girl Scout I definitely was like a brownie. I don't think I was a cadet yet. Like, brownies was the best. I was a brownie, and you went on a field trip to the museum, and everyone would sleep in sleeping bags inside the submarine. I remember doing that, and I'm pretty sure I hated it. And like, that checks out. But okay, when you really think about the concept of a submarine, tell me something like worse. You are in a compact metal tube, so basically an oversized heavy duty can in the ocean with billions of pounds of pressure, and who knows what else when it comes to the sea. Like, most of the ocean is undiscovered. Like, I actually cannot think of anything worse than being in it. Okay, so let's play it out. Would I rather go to Jurassic Park or go in a submarine? And the answer is Jurassic Park. Would I rather go to space to live or have to go live in a submarine? I mean, really neither, but I would have to choose space because space death would be faster than water death, I think. Unsure. Next on my list, Hogwarts. Also not a real place. But if it was, like, it's like, well, what if you were a muggle? Okay, well, let's say I wasn't a muggle. Let's say I do have magical powers and I'm supposed to go to Hogwarts. I am apprehensive. Do you know what happens at Hogwarts? Giant spiders, dementors, men disguised as rats, that janitor, those mermaids, those were not your H2O mermaids. They were not friendly. Like, that was Pirates of the Caribbean, the last one with the mermaids. Hogwarts is not for me. There's like barely any lighting. The floor always kind of seems wet. It definitely is cold there. Like, I love a British accent, but is it worth it? You tell me. You tell me. Okay, the next thing on my list, and I'm sure this will shock no one, the Amazon rainforest. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I will not be going to the Amazon rainforest. I am not fit for the regular forest, let alone, I can't even imagine. Like, I just feel like I would instantly die, but also it would partially be because I was already afraid. And I think about all the things in the Amazon rainforest, and the thing I'm most afraid of is monkeys and like anything that has hands. And when I think of the Amazon rainforest, it makes me think of Zaboomafoo. Who remembers Zaboomafoo? Like, that movie hit different. If you were to say that Sprite was a show, like a kid's show, I would say it's Zaboomafoo. That's a really good answer. Zaboomafoo was genius. I just remember being like, I wanted a lemur so badly. And I get that Zaboomafoo actually goes right into the next topic. Because, It's Zabumafu, the lemur, with the crap, with the with the crab brothers, and they're Australian. They might be from the outback, and that's another place I am absolutely never going to. I'm terrified of Australia. Giant bugs, giant bats, giant bats. Who's seen that? That bat that's like 6 feet? Like, if that bat is hanging outside of my house is his. Like, I don't know how to fight that. The magpies. Did you know that in Australia, there's like a season where the magpies, those like quote unquote sweet birds, they swoop down and they go for people's eyes, and people have gotten blinded. People have died. Imagine you're just trying to take a nice walk down the street, and then all of a sudden, a smallish bird is flying at you to wound you, to mortally injure you. That is insanity. Like, you are fighting for your life in Australia. Like, it is a video game. I do not understand. So I will not be going. I feel quite passionate. So when it comes to the last topic, things, we're going to talk the specific thing I want to talk about today is animals. I am afraid of a lot of animals, and I feel like I spent most of my life pretending like I wasn't afraid of animals. And here's something I've come to learn about myself. I thought that I hide certain emotions very well. Like, sometimes when I dislike something, or maybe I'm afraid, I think that I'm disguising it, but I'm absolutely not. But I think I'm convincing everyone. So now that I realize that about myself, I'm like okay with the fact that I'm afraid of a lot of animals. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, because you know what? Most animals are wild animals. And people need to remember that. Like, and that's the issue. Let's jump right into this. Let's start with, at the top of my list, I literally was like, okay, I just don't want to forget any animals that I'm afraid of. Bears. I didn't have a fear of bears until like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but I'm absolutely terrified of bears. And if you're looking for a good bear scary movie, watch Backcountry. Very funny, very good. You will be disappointed, but I still do recommend it. Next on my wild animal list, monkeys. I do not trust monkeys. Monkeys rip people's faces off. And I feel like lately we are forgetting that. We are all like, ooh, so cute, like little monkey, like la la. Do you not understand that the little monkey will rip your face off? I love George of the Jungle. That little monkey in George of the Jungle, he's a good guy. He works hard. He just wants to fit in. But you know what? I would not let that monkey touch me for a second, because you let them get too comfortable, snatch. They will take your face. Listen to me. Monkeys are here to snatch faces. And that's not me being crazy. That's just the truth. Let's talk about how would you react if Madagascar, like, who remembers the movie Madagascar? When the animals broke out, they're in New York, they're down in like Time Central Station. How would you react if that was real? That's a nightmare. I am out. Like, absolutely not. I am not trying to mess around with wild animals that people. What is the general consensus? Do we deem animals in the zoo tame or wild? Or is it the weird middle ground in between? But at the same time, a wild animal, no matter how tame or docile or loyal, to its core, like, it has instincts. It is that is why I'm afraid of horses. I watched the movie Spirit. The movie Spirit, I understand that is a DreamWorks production, but that's also the truth. It's a wild animal, and that is why I have a fear of horses, because at any moment they could revert back. It's their choice. They are quite smart. It's like kangaroos. People underestimate them. Listen to me. Kangaroo Jack is a documentary. That is actually how kangaroos are. Do they talk? Maybe. Have you ever heard a kangaroo talk? No. But does that mean that they can't talk? Maybe they just choose to not talk in front of people. Because imagine how jealous the people would be. Like, we have a jealousy problem. Like, we don't want anyone else to have anything. If kangaroos started talking, it would be like, who gave them the right to talk? What do you mean, who gave them the right to talk? It's ridiculous. But kangaroos, they are muscled up gym bros. They do not play around. They are boxers. We actually, you know what I want to see? I want to see all of these celebrity like YouTube boxing matches. Put kangaroos in there. Go up against some kangaroos. Let's see who's let's see who's standing at the end. That's the type of thing I'm looking for. But at the same time, absolutely not. I'm not coming within 500 feet of a kangaroo because they will sucker punch me and that will be the end of my life. I won't be able to recover. But let me even base it down. I used to be afraid of cats and dogs. Like, I would go over to some of my friends' house and I would get up in the night to go to their bathroom and I would be running and their cat would be running behind me and I would be so afraid. I don't know why, but I was intimidated, I guess. So yes, I literally used to run away from like all of my friends' cats when I was at their houses. And then this, oh my goodness. It wasn't even a bad experience because I had the best like week of my life. But I once was dog sitting and there were two dogs. One was young and crazy, and the other one was old and calm. Loved him, and so many things. And I'm not sure what I can and can't say. But to base it down, one of the dogs was an actual nightmare that my friends and I actually coined the term devil dog because you could do nothing right. And by the end of the week, this dog was torturing me. Like, I swear, animals, they know about torture. I like, do not even play with me on this. Like, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to animals and revenge. Sea animals. I am not messing with sea animals. Like, I already talked about how like when I'm in the pool in the deep end, I'm worried that there's like a shark or like an octopus is gonna pull me under. But like, I'm afraid of whales, purely based on size. The idea of how large I've never seen a whale in real life before. But when I see videos and just size reference, I'm terrified because it could just like decide to take you out. Someone up in Boston literally got swallowed by a whale, like Jonah out here. It's crazy. Dolphins, I know that dolphins are nice, but you will never catch me in Florida or anywhere tropical riding on a dolphin. One, because I think that that's wrong. Like, it just feels rude. But also, dolphins have teeth. And I've seen that video of that dolphin biting that girl's arm, and I just don't have the strength to deal with being bit by a dolphin because it's embarrassing. Seaweed. I know that seaweed is not an animal, but it just like needs to go in this grouping. Like, that's one of the reasons why I love my water shoes. Like, I will be wearing the cutest bathing suit at the beach and then slap on my sherbet colored water shoes because I hate seaweed so much. So it's so gross. I'm afraid. I hate when it wraps around your leg. It makes me want to throw up. I hate seaweed. Fish with teeth. First of all, why do fish need teeth? Can't they like literally just like not? If the fish has teeth, I am uninterested. And I'm also going to throw catfish in there because I'm not sure if catfish have teeth. I feel like they have like 4 teeth in their entire mouth, if they have teeth at all. But like their whiskers, and they do this thing where they like, I don't know, just like, I don't trust a catfish, not for a second. I won't eat catfish, but I won't catch them either. Seals. I'm definitely afraid of seals. And I went to the aquarium, saw some great seals, but I just don't trust a wild animal. And that's what it always comes back to. Giant squids. Are they real? Are they a myth? I love every sci-fi bad movie about the terrible giant squid. But when I think about it, that is the most awful, and maybe I'm not as afraid of octopi. I'm not as afraid of octopi as I am of giant squids. But giant squids just seem so much worse. They seem, maybe to me in my mind, they seem more malicious. Bugs, are bugs animals? No, they're insects, and that's different. But I'm just like, I'm adding it to the list, and the list is short because it's all bugs. Like, it's ants, it's worms, it's butterflies, it's ladybugs, and I have good reason. Worms gross me out. Period. And like their butt is their mouth, which is weird. And okay, moving on. Secondly, butterflies and ladybugs. Yeah, no, I'm not rocking with them. If anyone who went to high school might remember from gym class junior year when we were playing tennis and the butterflies were attacking me on the tennis court. And I don't like ladybugs because I was bitten by a ladybug. And everyone tried to gaslight me on it and be like, that's not what happened. And ladybugs don't do that. And I was like, first of all, none of you were there. Second of all, you didn't see it. Third of all, you didn't feel it. Like, okay, stay in your lane. Like, I didn't need medical attention, but I was like, yo, I don't like ladybugs because this ladybug just bit me. And everyone was like, well, that's not what happened. Okay, fine, you win. Like, if I could go back in time whenever someone just deadpan me when I told them my experience and was like, well, that's not what happened, I'd be like, okay, and just like turn and walk away. Because, like, I'm not, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's the thing. You can totally disagree with someone and still validate their experience. Like, you don't have to be like a dickwad about it. That's just my personal opinion. Because you know what that is? That's rodent behavior. And that ties into the last thing I want to talk about. And I put rodents under rodents. It's not what your usual thinking is. Mine is hamsters and bunnies. Out. Absolutely not. Like, we got Remy the rat. We got Stuart Little. Like, I am not rocking with rats. I am not rocking with mice, but I will rock with those two guys. But I will not get behind a hamster or a bunny. PETA, do not come for me. ASPCA, is that the Animal Protection Society? Do not come for me. Everything was fine. This is just a funny story. I don't rock with hamsters because there was one weekend in college where we were babysitting some girls down the hall's hamster for the weekend. His name was Jose Cuervo. And we had him like in a circle. We all like had our feet like touching each other's feet so he would stay caged in. And he like came over and he put his like tiny paw on my leg, and it was a gut reaction. I kind of just like swatted him away, and he didn't go flying, but he went like 2 feet or whatever, and everyone was so mad at me, and then I got banned. And like, I totally get it, but I was just grossed out. Like, there was something that was just like, ugh. And I think it was my mind was like, there's poop on his hands and on his feet, which are his hands and his feet. That was just like, I think that was just going through, and that's the issue, is that if you step in your own poop, do not come near me. Do you understand? Like, absolutely not. And then the last item on the list, bunnies. And this is, I hate rabbits and bunnies because I lived with someone who was like, oh, I need this animal. And we were all cool with it. We set down guidelines. And then not only was this person a terror, but their bunny was a terror too. Like this animal chewed through so many laptop cords. It chewed through hundreds of dollars worth of suitcases. It would be lost in the room multiple times. I I cannot even begin, like, it would actually take an hour and a half to explain the type of psychological damage that living with a rabbit basically did to me and my roommates. And this girl only lived with us for like 18 days, and it felt like fucking months. It was absolute insanity. And that's the thing, is that when you live with other people and they bring their pets with them, it's like either it can go really well or it's going to be an actual nightmare scenario, and it's going to break up friendships and relationships and like ruin everything. It's just like you have to be so incredibly careful. And now I don't want to look at a rabbit. The only rabbits I want to see are the bunnies outside in nature. They know how to mind their business. They know what they're doing. They are not in my way. They are not bugging me. Domesticated rabbits? Absolutely not. I don't want to see them. I don't want to hear them. Never, ever, ever, ever again. So I'm sorry out there to my future children. You will never have a pet rabbit. I've gotten over my fear of cats because now I have a cat. I have gotten over my fear of dogs, I think. So if you want a cat, we'll get a cat. If you want a dog, we'll get a dog. But we are not getting a rodent. Absolutely not. And we're not doing bugs either. We're not doing an ant farm. No, thank you. If you want to do the ant farm, you're gonna have to do that outside, and the ant farm stays outside. That is not coming in the house, because ants are at the top of my list of things that I am afraid of. So afraid. And there's nothing wrong with being afraid, because that's your brain telling you not to do something and to listen to yourself, which you always should. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in for today. I hope you chuckled, laughed, or even just enjoyed listening. Do not forget to check out the new Dear Alienz website. Check the link in the description below. Be sure to check me out on social media. My Instagram handle is Marge Halsey. Send me a message, if you're listening, if you have any input, if you want to answer any of the questions, or just like share things that you are thinking. Like, I want to hear them. And if you're listening up there, my address is the Cottage in the Woods. Please save me from this cannibal.